realized, you know what, we really have something here in teaching what we know about digital marketing. There are channels in place that facilitate just about anything that you want to do, which makes getting started a lot easier than it was a few years ago.
It's such a simple tool, yet people have done so many amazing things with it.
I am going to make history here as the first president to live tweet.
Sometimes it's good to pursue that which is difficult. Sometimes it's good to pursue that which is hard.
I'm an entrepreneur. When I start a business, I want to win.
You know, most people today don't think about Facebook as a place to discover places where they could go eat or things that they could go do.
You know, they've got a picture of him, they know how old he is, they know on average what profession he's in, they know if he's married or if he's single.
We all want to be stars, celebrities, singers, comedians. And when I was younger, that seemed so very, very hard to do. But now web video has made it so that any of us or any of the creative things that we do can become completely famous and a part of our world's culture. I mean, any one of you could be famous on the internet by next Saturday.
Their friendly rivalry is causing an internet sensation, and Good Morning America spoke to them exclusively about their newfound fame.
Miley tweeted, "Smilers, my VMA performance had 306,000 tweets per minute."
Thank you for helping us deceive the world and hopefully put an end to twerking forever.
Traditional media is freaking out because they don't really get all this stuff that's going on.
Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, has been doing a little shopping of his own. For sale, one American newspaper.
The internet went insane over it because she did absolutely no promotion, no one expected it.
Anche negli ambiti creati dalle nuove tecnologie.
Any analyst at any time can target anyone.
Technology changed the speed and the accuracy with which we learned of the Boston attacks, but it also quickly became a platform for the nation's shock.
I think there's a distinction between being passionate about a product or being passionate about a process.
You want the future cast. So you want to tell them what their life's going to be like once they start using your solution.
Email is changing and evolving this year. Engagement. That is the name of the game this year. Engagement, engagement, engagement. You cannot be in the top of an inbox of Yahoo, Gmail, and not have engagement. It's just not going to happen anymore.
New Gmail inbox rolling out today for iOS, Android, and web. It's designed to address a pretty hot topic today, which is email overload. But at the end of the day, everything we do comes down to two things: traffic and conversion. No matter what it is that we're selling, we realized if we can get good at traffic and we can get good at converting that traffic, we'll win.
Ladies and gentlemen, help me give a huge round of applause for the co-founder of Digital Marketer and your host, Mr. Ryan Dice. Get it, bud. It's on the table.
Good morning. My goodness, there's a crap load of you guys here. I think back to 5 years ago. Can we bring the lights up? I want to see all these beautiful faces. Never mind, you can turn back down. No, thinking back 5 years ago at the very first Traffic Conversion Summit, there was 289 people that came out to an event because Perry and I sent a couple of emails and said, hey, come down to Austin, Texas. We're going to show you guys some cool stuff that we've been doing over the last year. And 289 people showed up. And our soul, when we built that event, we said, what's the point? Why are we doing this event? Because there were tons of marketing events at that time. How many of you guys were doing this stuff, were kind of in this space doing digital marketing 5 years ago? There were marketing events every weekend, right? All over the place. There were marketing events. And like, why? If we're going to do this, why? What's the reason? Like, what's our purpose? What do we want to accomplish? And at the time, these events were all about monetization. They were all about, how can we do this and make money? Our goal at the very first Traffic Conversion Summit was simple. Let's have our one goal be, let's produce the absolute best event that anybody's ever been to, and have everybody leave here saying just that. Wow, that was the best event I've ever been to. And that's been our goal every year since. The first year we did that, as a result of that astounding goal, we lost enormous amounts of money. It's like, goal accomplished. The testimonials, though, were great. But what's been great is we've stayed consistent to that vision, and now looking out here, knowing that there could have been 1,000 more people had the fire marshal not come in at the last minute and pulled some seats. It's great, and I really, really appreciate you guys being a part of this and coming out here. That goal still remains the same. I still want each and every one of you guys leaving here saying, holy crap, that was the absolute best event that I've ever been to in my entire life. I learned so much. My goal now, really, we talked about the AHA sheets. If each one of you guys leaves here with just one AHA sheet filled out, just 4 items saying, yep, I'm gonna implement these things right here, then we will have done what we set out to do. And I will have known that each and every one of you guys got value far above and beyond whatever it is that you paid to be here. And so please do that. Please, please, please do that for me. So to kind of kick things off, real quick, how many of you guys, is this your very first Traffic and Conversion Summit? Wow. How many of you guys, is this your second or more? Yeah, cool. Welcome to everybody who's new. So one thing I like to do at the outset of these things is say, how many of you guys have absolutely no idea who I am? Thank you. This happens a lot. And I used to do these events and I would just go up and assume that people knew who I was because, you know, it was like my event, but they freaking don't. So if you will just give me 5 minutes, I promise all I'm going to take. I'll just tell you guys who I am really, really quickly. My name is Ryan Dice. Along with Perry Belcher, I'm the co-founder of digitalmarketer.com and ID Incubator LP, which is the holding company that represents our interest in literally dozens of different businesses. In the last 36 months, and Dennis mentioned this also, we've invested over $15 million of our own money in marketing tests. We've generated tens of millions of unique visitors, sent well over 1 billion emails. I give this stat, and people are like, screw you. But in a room full of marketers, I guess that's kind of cool, right? My mom thinks it's annoying. But we figured out a lot over those things. We've run approximately 3,000 split and multivariate tests. And here's the kicker. These were all done in our own businesses. These were done in businesses that we own. I think the thing that really separates us from a lot of other people who talk about marketing, who teach marketing, who write about marketing is, wait for it, we actually do marketing. Most don't. Most don't. It's annoying. It's crazy because I read this stuff. I read it, and they're oftentimes very well written. We, as a team, don't always word that good, okay? We're not skilled writers by any stretch of the imagination. I read other blogs and other things, and they're very well written, very crafted. But I look at it and I go, these guys are just wrong. Some of the things that they say sound like they should work, but we've done them and we go, no, that didn't work. I know why they think it should work, but we've got this pesky thing called data and facts that tell us that no, it didn't work. And that's what makes us different, I believe. I believe I'll stand here and tell you guys, that's what makes us better than just about everybody else out there talking about this. We do it, and we don't just do it talking about how to do it. Like, we have real businesses and stuff. You know, we've got blogs and media properties. We've got physical products and e-commerce divisions. We own manufacturing companies, retail companies. We're in all types of different businesses. So when we test these different things, we get to try them out across not just a wide variety of verticals, but a wide variety of business models. So when we tell you guys, we did this and it works, you can take that to the bank. It worked. Now, there's no absolutes. You may try it and it may not work, in which case, my bad. But I can at least stand up here with confidence and tell you that it absolutely did work for us. It's not just something that sounds like it should have worked. It's not some logical lie that sounds cool, but isn't. This stuff really works, and that's what you're getting here, and that's what Digital Marketer and Traffic Conversion Summit is all about. We haven't always been doing this. This is where I started my very first online business. I was a freshman at the University of Texas in 1999. I lived in that dorm room, Moore Hill dormitory, and that was where I made my very first sale on the web. Prior to that, I had a slightly different business model. My business model prior to that was I would give plasma. I responded to an ad like this. Has anybody ever done this before? Donated plasma. It really sucks. It's like giving blood, and then they centrifuge out the plasma, and then they push the red blood cells back into you. just as uncomfortable and cold and ugh, but you get like 40 big cash dollars, all right? And I had this thing figured out to where there were different blood banks that didn't cross-promote, because technically you're not supposed to do this a lot, apparently. I don't know why, but they sort of frown upon that different thing. But I was able to kind of bebop around the different ones. I did the same thing with medical experiments. Did some ones that were, I did a cold study one time where it was $250, and you also got $250 if you referred a friend, so I'm sneezing on everybody in the dorm, stuff like that. That was a good week. I was really jealous. I got my wisdom teeth removed in high school, which sucked, because if you didn't get your wisdom teeth removed, you could go and do a study where they would remove your wisdom teeth for free. Now, that's a pretty sweet deal in and of itself, but you know what they were testing in this particular study? Pain medicine. So, if you happen to get the placebo, you got a bonus. And I remember, like, a buddy of mine, he got it, and he did the thing, and he got the placebo, and I was like, man, lucky, because I think he got like $1,000. All he had to do was endure excruciating pain in his mouth for a few weeks. Seems like a fair trade. But then something happened later on my freshman year, really when I was still doing the cold studies and before I made my very first sale. I went to a party and I met a girl. Actually, I met quite a few girls that evening because I was wearing full-body blue spandex, which, gents, if you want to meet women, full-body blue spandex. This particular pair of full-body blue spandex I bought at a thrift store secondhand. I only realized about 10 years later how incredibly disgusting that is to buy secondhand full-body blue spandex. And I know what you're thinking, yeah, but you washed it, right? Of course I didn't wash it. I don't know how to wash clothes as a freshman in college. I think I did that twice a year. I owned a lot of socks. I just kept buying those things. So there I am. So I met a girl. I met one girl in particular, that one right there, who's somewhere in this room. Please, if you see her, don't bother her. She's scared of people. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm just kidding. I love you, sweetie. So I met that girl, and I knew pretty early on that I think this might be the one. Now, I didn't say that to her, because like if you say that to a girl like 2 weeks in, that's called creepy. But I did know. I knew like this might be the one. And if you're gonna obviously propose to a girl, they have full expectations that you have a ring as well when you come to that thing. And I didn't have any money, and I did the math on how many plasma donations I was gonna have to give to buy a ring, and I was gonna be dead. I mean, it just wasn't gonna happen. So that was when I got serious. That was my original motivation and my original reason why, and the reason that I went back to my dorm room and I got to work. And when my buddies were going out partying, I was building websites. And it started out, I was building, just small little rinky-dink websites selling ebooks and software and things like that. Back then it was easy. I was killing it on GoTo.com. Who remembers GoTo.com? I owned Alta Vista. I was ranking all up in the Alta Vistas. It was a little bit different back then, the SEO thing. All you had to do was kind of write your keywords in your meta tag, and all the search engines went, well, obviously that's what your site's about, because no one would lie about this, right? It's changed a touch, which is good, because if it were as hard as it is today, and I were doing this back then, I don't think I would have made it. I believe it's gotten a lot more difficult. But I did. I got serious, and I buckled down, and the little business that started off just as a few websites here and there, selling a few things here and there, eventually kind of grew into a really big organization. We now have 100 some odd people that work for ID Incubator directly, not counting outsourcers and other team members, and it's good. It's been a fun ride, and I get to work with some of the best people, some of my best friends I get to work with day in and day out, and a lot of these chuckleheads are going to be up here talking to you guys. So that's kind of the background and where all this thing began. Long story short, I got the ring, I got the girl, we got some of them. Then I figured out how to not have that happen anymore, which is it sucks. So that was pretty cute though. That was worth it. So along the way, we figured out some pretty cool stuff. And my theory about this whole thing has been, just talk about it. All I've ever done is talk about what I was doing, because it made me better. It forced me to systemize. If I had to teach somebody else, then I was gonna have to systemize. There's so many things that you guys do and that if you've been doing this for any length of time, that you go in and you step up and you just do it. You don't know how you do it or why you do it or the particular steps. It's not until somebody asks questions that you begin to systemize. So that's what I've always done. I've always enjoyed teaching. I've always enjoyed sharing. And I never once believed that if I showed somebody something that it would somehow make me less money. I never believed that. I've never believed that. I'm not an overly like woo-woo kind of guy. I don't meditate particularly often. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I do believe I am a big believer in having a prosperity mindset being a big important aspect of success in business. You guys are all in here sharing a room with some really brilliant people. Some of you, not so brilliant, but a lot of you are pretty smart, okay? Talk to one another, share, come to the networking things, share your ideas. It makes us all better. It absolutely positively makes us all better. So that's what we're going to be doing. That's what Traffic and Conversion Summit is all about. That's what Digital Marketer is all about. Once a year, we get together and we say, here's all the cool stuff that we figured out. And some of the really cool stuff that we learned from our War Room guys that we now take credit for all their good ideas when we talk to you. That's why we let the War Room guys sit up front so that they can give us the evil eye when we take credit for all their cool ideas. I also get to take credit for a lot of really good ideas that my team comes up with, some of whom you're going to see as well today. So I'd like to open up Traffic and Conversion Summit making a few predictions. I love making predictions because when you're right, you get to sound really smart. When you're wrong, you just don't talk about that anymore. But some of the predictions that were made on this stage last year absolutely came true. You heard one of them, Richard Lindner, who's going to be talking after me about some of the stuff we're doing with funnels, and then is doing a special session on email deliverability. He predicted last year, he said, everything's about to change with email. It's going to be about engagement. It's not going to be about all these factors. You heard him say engagement, engagement, engagement. A number of the predictions that we made last year have come true. And I'm going to make a few more predictions this morning because I want you guys to be looking ahead. I want you guys, not so that you can jump on it and act upon it today, but so that when you start to see it coming, you have a category for it. You know what it's all about, and you can move on it faster than everyone else. So there's three big shifts that I believe are taking place. Big shift number one, and a lot of you guys have already seen this, online, social, and mobile advertising is going native. When I say the phrase native advertising, how many of you guys know what that is? Wow. How many of you guys have heard the phrase native advertising? Native advertising is quickly becoming the single largest traffic generator on the web and on mobile. Native advertising, native being a distinction between display, the traditional banner ad, right? And it was bound to happen. It had to happen. This chart tracks the average click-through rate decline of banner ads over the last, five years or so. It has had a steady decline, and the reason is obvious. Banner blindness. Banner blindness. It's been here forever. This screenshot right here was taken from a report that Jacob Nielsen did back in 2002, I think. And it was bad then. It's worse now. It's worse now. And this is not a new phenomenon. It's not a new phenomenon. We used to use commercial breaks during TV to go make a sandwich or go to the bathroom or something like that, right? We've always ignored advertising. Always ignored advertising. Now the technology makes it so you just fast forward it, right? So how are the big media companies responding to this? What are they doing? What are you seeing now when you watch TV that maybe you didn't see before, it wasn't as obvious? Product placement, right? The most blatant one of all. Any of you guys still watch? If I would have said this a few years ago, only every hand would have gone up. But American Idol, right? So you watch American Idol, and what does every single judge have in front of them? A glass of what? Well, the glass says Coke